Hey guys, before we start this afternoon's live stream, I just want to give a massive shout out to TBC Live. Guys, TBC Live is a fantastic way to interact with all your favorite rugby league content creators. On TBC Live, you can predict the outcome of NRL games as they're happening live. You can predict a 40-20. You can predict a 4 scoreline dropout. You can predict a try score within 5 minutes. Whatever it may be, guys, get on your phone today, download the TBC Live app, and I will see you on there. Anyway, let's get into the 2024 Grand Final preview. Melbourne versus Penrith. Here we go. Start the intro. Grand Final week, one of the great weeks of the rugby league season. Also one of the sad weeks of the season. That NRL season's almost over, and it's going to be a difficult few months trying to get through the off-season and look forward to a brand new season in 2025. But welcome back to the YouTube channel, guys. My name is Nick from Australia. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to like the live stream and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. If you're a regular viewer, thank you for tuning in once again. Of course, hello to the live chat. We got Jason Reader, we got River, we got Josh Rabbitohs 2024, SS Storm fan. We got everyone rolling in. Gene, Josh, Rishi, everyone that's here. Hello to William Pearson. Hello to Jeffrey. Hello to everyone that's watching. Hope you are all doing well. The other thing I want to mention as well, guys, if you're not aware, the rugby league content creator yearly awards are back again this year, and if you guys want to vote for me, which I would really appreciate, go on to my Instagram story, click on the link, and vote for me in the 3 categories that I have suggested you guys vote for. I will give you the categories just now, so in case you guys are not aware of the whole thing. But I would like to be in the nominees. Even if I don't win, that's fine. I'd like to be in the nominees. So the Rugby League Creator Awards on Instagram. Make sure you guys vote for me in the category Most Passionate Creator. Vote for me in the Vlogger of the Year category. I think I deserve a bit of recognition for this year with vlogs. I've been everywhere supporting the Cowboys and cheering on my team. And Most Improved plus Underrated Creator. Vote for me on those 3 categories. I would really appreciate that. Would love to be recognized. Even if I don't win, I just love to be in the nominees. But you guys, please go and do that. But all right, let's get to tonight's agenda, man. Melbourne Storm versus Penrith Panthers in the 2024 NRL Grand Final. Wow. Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. This is going to be a great game, man. This is going to be a great Grand Final. We saw in 2020 when these sides played each other in the Grand Final. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest game. Melbourne led like 26-0, whatever the goddamn score was in the end. I think it was 26-20. But I think we're going to get a much better game this time out. And look, I'm not saying Melbourne-Penrith is a big rivalry, but there's definitely something going on there. You go back to the Grand Final in 2020. You go back to the 2021 preliminary final. There's a lot of there's a bit of hate between the two sides, man. There really is. You look at the Grand Final, the prelim. Melbourne were the last team to beat Penrith in a sudden death finals game, which obviously was the 2020 Grand Final. And then Penrith denied Melbourne for going back-to-back in 2021 in the prelim. And then obviously they've had some big clashes over the years. So it's always a big game, man, when it's Storm versus Panthers. It's always a blockbuster. But we'll have a look at the team list first, and then we'll get to it and whatnot. So we'll start with Melbourne, as they are the home side, even though Penrith are the Sydney team, but Melbourne are the home team. Fullback is Ryan Pappenhausen. Wingers are Will Warbrick and Xavier Coates. The centers are Jack Howarth and Nick Meaney. The halves are Munster and Hughes. The front row is Tuikama Kamefa and Josh King. Harry Grant is playing hooker. The second row is Sean Bloor and Eliza Katoa. Lock forward is Trent Liero. And on the bench, Tyrone Wishart, Christian Welsh, Lazarus Falapu, and Alex McDonald. Fairly strong side, pretty much the same as last week, except Kamakamefa will start and Big Lazarus will come off the bench because Nelson is suspended. Now, on to the Panthers, who have won the last 3 grand finals. Let's have a look at their side. Very good. Fullback Dylan Edwards. On the wings, Taruva and To'o. In the centers, you've got Isaac Tuggle and Paul Alamotti. The halves are Luai and Cleary. Front row is Leota and Fisher Harris. Mitch Kenny is at hooker. The back row of Luke Garner and Liam Martin. Isaiah Yeo is the lock forward. And the bench is Brad Schneider, Lindsay Smith, Liam Henry, and Matthew Eisenhuth. But keep in mind, jersey number 19 is Scott Sorensen. Scott Sorensen is more likely to replace Matt Eisenhuth off the bench. So keep an eye on Scotty Sorensen. He'll most likely come in for Matt Eisenhuth there. I believe he's ready to go. So that'll be a nice inclusion for the Panthers if he plays. Now, obviously, there are some great matchups in this grand final, man, like all over the park. Pappenhausen versus Edwards. You've got To'o versus Coates. Munster v. Luai, Hughes v. Cleary. Hughes versus Cleary is probably one of my favorite matchups. You got the best player in 2024 in Jerome Hughes versus the overall best player in the NRL today in Nathan Cleary. So the two best halfbacks in the game are going at it on Sunday, and that is going to be exciting, as it always will. It was always going to be exciting, but Jerome Hughes' form this year has made that matchup even more better. It's made it more better. Then you've got a couple of really solid back row battles here. You got Liam Martin on the right edge running at Sean Bloor. Really good battle there for Sean Bloor to see if he can, play at this high level up against someone like Liam Martin, who is the Kangaroos and the New South Wales back rower. Really good matchup there. And then Melbourne's right edge back row, Eliza Katoa, up against Luke Garner. Now, Eliza Katoa may not have played in any of these big games before, but Eliza Katoa is a very good young back row, and I think he going up against Eliza Katoa going up against Luke Garner is going to be really good as well. And obviously, Yeo versus Liero. Yeo wins by a landslide, but shout out to Trent Liero. You go back to that week 1 finals game against Cronulla. He ran for 222 meters. He had a big game, and he ran for like 170 last week against the Roosters, I think. So Trent Liero, he may not get the raps and the props that all the other locks in the game would get, but Liero has had a very good season, and especially his last month, it's been quite impressive. So massive shout out to Trent Liero. But I look at the bench. I'm looking at the bench for both sides here, and they've both got their goods and their bads about them. Like, you look at Wishart. Wishart could come off the bench. He could completely change his game. There could be an injury to the outside backs for the Storm. Obviously, we hope there isn't any injuries, but Wishart could come on and fill a position and do a great job and still be so dangerous. So, got to watch out for Wishart, man. Then you look at someone like a Christian Welsh, who's been pretty hit and miss this season, but you can't deny his experience in these big games. And then you look at a couple of young forwards like Alex McDonald, man. Like, how good's he been going the last few weeks? Alex McDonald's been very good. Thought he was really impressive against the Roosters last week. And you got Lazarus, which is another great story. Lazarus only played about 6 or 7 NRL games. He come from Penrith. He spent his whole life in Penrith. So he's from that system. So, he's going to want a big game, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes against this Penrith side. I'm really excited. But then you look at Penrith's bench, Schneider, Yes, he probably only played about 10 minutes, depending on Cleary and that. But Snyder can play with dummy half as well. So he can cover a couple of positions out there. Lindsay Smith and Liam Henry have both been very impressive for the Panthers this year. So keep an eye on them. Eisenhuth, I don't know if he'll play. I think Sorensen's going to replace him. But if he does play, I'm sure he'll be able to do a job. So it's a very even matchup, this grand final. It's a very even game. A lot can happen. And I'm excited for the game. It's going to be one hell of a grand final, man. One hell of a grand final. Now, the key to Melbourne for winning for mine is, yes, Melbourne have beaten Penrith twice this year, but I think the main key to Melbourne beating them is it's going to be on the back of their defense and it's going to be on the back of their grit. And, you go back to that game in round one when the Storm beat them 8-0, and that was without Munster and a couple others. They will want to try and play that sort of brand of football where they can just defend their way to victory. I don't think Melbourne care if they win this game 8-6 or if they win it 10-4. I don't think they care. If Melbourne's defense is at its absolute best, they can really frustrate the Panthers. They can frustrate Cleary and Luai. And I think Melbourne can win this game by completing, 90%, completion rate, somewhere between 80 and 90%, defend their ass off, keep Penrith to under 20 points. Melbourne are a big chance. And I think that could be the secret ingredient to beating Penrith. And I guess the other thing that Melbourne will need to do is they will need to offload the ball quite a bit through the middle. So I'm looking at Harry Grant. I'm looking at Trent Liero. I'm looking at Eliza Katoa, Josh King. I'm looking at these sort of guys to offload the ball through the middle. And I'm looking to see how they go about their business. Like offloads for the middle are going to be important, and high completions and defend well. That's going to be probably one of the key ingredients to the Storm winning the grand final. And for the Panthers, I think it's a bit like the Roosters last week, but the Roosters didn't get it right. The Panthers can win this game straight through the middle. They've got an elite forward pack. Penrith's forward pack is better than the Melbourne Storms, like Fisher Harris, Leota, and Yo, Liam Martin. They go through the middle and they can really gas out the likes of Kamikamifa, the likes of Sean Bloor, Trent Liero, Josh King. Penrith's middle is definitely good enough to win this game straight through the middle, and then the likes of Luai, Cleary, Edwards, they can all play on the back of it. And I think that's going to be Penrith's key to winning, is winning the middle and really taking their opportunities when they've got Melbourne on the back foot. So I think they can win this game on the back of their defense and a high completion rate with some offloads for the middle. And I think Penrith can win this game by punching through the middle of the field and just playing their usual brand of football. And you got to remember too, Penrith love the chaos. They love it. How many grand finals have Penrith been involved in the last couple of years where it's been chaos? They have owned the moments. You go back to the 2021 grand final where they owned the moment of the chaos, where they got the intercept try and they ended up winning, and then they held on at the end. And then you go back to last year's grand final when they were down 24-8 against the Broncos. They looked like they were dead and buried. They handled the chaos in that period very well, and they still managed to win the game. So Penrith are good at the chaos, but so are the Melbourne Storm. So both teams are good at it. So I'm intrigued to see which way it goes. It's probably one of the more 50-50 grand finals that I've seen in the last couple of years. I'm really intrigued to see how it goes. Now, if you have a look at the betting odds, the Melbourne Storm are favourite by 5 cents. It's very close. Melbourne are $1.90. Penrith are $1.95. So, interesting odds. Now, there are a couple of injury concerns, but everyone's going to play. I think Munster, Hughes, and Meaney were carrying a little bit of an injury. Harry Grant might have been as well, but, they'll be playing. And Nathan Cleary, whether his shoulder is stuffed or not, he will be playing regardless. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plans out. My prediction for the game, it's so hard to pick. I mean, Can the Panthers win their 4th grand final in a row? It hasn't been done since the 80s. Can Penrith do it? Can they win their 4th grand final in a row? This is their 5th grand final straight. You remember 2020, Penrith got beat by Melbourne. Then Penrith won the grand final against Souths, Parramatta, and Brisbane. Can they do it again? Can they win 4 in a row? They can. They could. They might. But guys, I'm tipping the Melbourne Storm. I am. I think the Melbourne Storm are going to win this premiership. I think they've been the best team all year. I think Penrith is still a great chance of winning, but they've got a few injury concerns and they just look a little bit tired to me. Melbourne seem to just have more points in them, in my opinion. So I'm actually going to tip the Melbourne Storm to win the 2024 grand final. I think it's their time, and I think they're going to be the ones that break the Panthers dynasty. So, my predictions. I am going the Melbourne Storm to win by 8 points, 24 points to 16. I think we'll see a couple of tries in this grand final. I don't think we're going to see a 12-8 or a 14-10 scoreline. I think there'll be a few more points than that. So, Melbourne Storm to win the grand final by 8 points, 24 points to 16. First try scorer. Now, look, it's always hard to pick a first try scorer in any grand final, but there has been a bit of a theme of left centers have been scoring first tries in the grand final a fair bit in the last 5 or 6 years. So I'm going to take Jack Howarth for the Melbourne Storm to score the first try in the grand final. And Jack Howarth, ladies and gentlemen, is paying $21 on Ladbrokes. I think Jack Howarth at $21 to score the first try at left center is a very good price. He's up against Isaac Tago, who isn't the greatest defender in the world, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to take Jack Howarth as the first try scorer in the grand final. Anytime try scorer, I'll take a Penrith player. I'll make it fair. I'm going to go Liam Martin. Liam Martin did bang for me last week in my multi in the last 3 minutes. I think Liam Martin has a good opportunity here where he can run a nice line off Nathan Cleary. I think he can get on the outside of Munster or Sean Bloor or even Jack Howarth, who the hell knows. But I'm going to take Liam Martin as an anytime try scorer. That's paying, what's Liam Martin paying? It's $4.50. Liam Martin was $5 last week, so $4.50 for Liam Martin I think is a very, very nice bet right there. And the final one as well, the Clive Churchill medalist. I'm going to go with Cameron Munster. I think it's Munster's time to shine. Munster, he had that really big game against Cronulla a couple of weeks ago, but it was overshadowed by Harry Grant because he got a hat-trick. And then obviously Jerome Hughes had a really big game last week, getting a hat-trick. I'm not saying Munster gets a hat-trick, but I'm going to say Munster is going to be the best player on the field. And Cameron Munster to win the Clive Churchill medal is paying a juicy $8. So I'm going to take Cameron Munster for the Clive Churchill medal on Sunday night. So go through it again real quick for you guys. Storm to win, 24-16, an 8-point win for the Storm. Jack Howarth to score the first try at $21 odds. Liam Martin to score anytime at $4.50 odds. And Cameron Munster for the Clive Churchill medal at $8. Very, very good stuff there. But guys, that is my grand final preview done and dusted. I want to wish both teams all the best. As a Cowboys fan, I couldn't give two shits who wins. I'm just looking forward to a great game of rugby league and bring on the NRL grand final. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching the preview. Don't forget to download the TBC Live app, and don't forget to vote for me on Instagram on the Rugby League Creator Awards. I would love to win or be nominated at least. So, guys, go and vote for me on the 3 categories that I said at the start of the video. Anyway, that's going to wrap things up here for me. Have a fantastic, Wednesday night. I'm going to go watch the Dally M's. I might be live later for the Dally M review, see what happens. Anyway, guys, so thanks for watching. like and subscribe. And yes, I will see you guys later.